along with us today as we check out our 2018 Polaris Ranger 570 full size. We don't have a lot of accessories on it yet, but we wanted to introduce it to you and give you an idea of what we'll be riding around on the trails.
Good morning. Welcome to Getting Outdoors with Mike and Yvonne. We wanted to do a review of our 2018 Polaris Ranger side by side. It's the 570 full size, which is the 3-seater. A lot of people does unboxing and brand new. We wanted to give you the used version of the review. Our Ranger, it's a 2018 model, and it's not all cleaned up, and it's a little dirty, but we actually have about 31 hours on it. It's got about 200 miles, so we've kind of broken it in a little bit. I can tell you a few good points, a few bad points, mostly good. We've had this thing, I don't know, a few months. We've used it around the house. We've taken it over to trails over in Uwharrie, some pretty rough, rugged, rocky trails. We've taken it to West Virginia. We've rode the outlaw trails, rode for 3 days there. So we've had a good chance to check it out and know the ins and outs of it a little bit. I'm sure there's more to come. But come on over and we'll talk about it some. First, I'd like to talk about the accessories that we put on it. One of the things that I realized right off the bat was side mirrors. You definitely need side mirrors, because when you go to back this thing up, you can't see. You have to constantly turn around, and it's not very comfortable. It could be aggravating backing on and off a trailer, things like that. So you definitely want some side mirrors. These side mirrors are seismic. We'll do a separate review on them, but they are lifetime warranty. If you break them, even if you wreck your machine and break them, they replace them. Another thing that we did, and come on over here and you can take a look, is we bought a rear view mirror. The rear view mirror is the same. When you're riding, especially with a crowd, or let's say you're in West Virginia riding down the roads, you always want to see what's going on behind you. If you've got cars coming at you, or if you're riding on the trail and you've got people behind you and you need to keep a look on them in case they get broke down or have an accident, that rear view mirror has been very good to have as well. But basically the machine, a couple of the things that we've noticed, when you first get it, they service it, but there's a couple extra things you need to do. One is the shifter. The shifter is just a little bit rough. You have to almost kind of feel the gears out, and you learn how to shift that mechanism. But what you want to do is you want to take some spray silicone and spray on the shifter over on next to the motor. Another little note that we found, the steering is just a little bit rough. It's not like you have to have power steering, but it's a little bit hard, but it doesn't make you tired. We found out if you take the silicone spray and spray on the tie rod ends as well, then that will help you. The tie rod ends, if you'll come over here and look, let me turn the wheel. The tie rod ends is right here. So if you put some silicone spray there, it helps your steering a whole lot. But the machine overall, the only problem that we've had with it, probably about the first few miles, we noticed a popping or a cracking up front somewhere, and we couldn't figure out where it was. And slowly I have figured out the two front tires, the two front wheels, if you pull them real hard, there's just a little bit of a cracking or popping. And what I've read, and I'll do a review on this, the castle nuts need to be tightened up, or there may be a washer that needs to be added to the front because the bearings have just now finally seated in place. But we'll do a review on that one. But as you look around the machine, it's had really good ground clearance so far. We haven't drug anywhere. One of the things with ground clearance on a side-by-side is you always want to have a winch. Now we had this winch put on at the Polaris place. It is a Polaris winch. The reason we had it put on there was because it's part of the warranty. So it's warranted for a year just like everything else. And they did a really good custom job as far as it looks factory on all the wiring, all the controls and everything else. And you get a handheld switch where you can be outside the vehicle and do the winching. As we go around it, we use the bed for a lot of things. As you can see now, we've got our archery equipment in there. Going to do a little bit of shooting this morning, but we use it around the house. We work with it. We haul rocks with it, firewood, cutting our trails, chainsaws, just all kinds of things. And then another thing you can do, come on the back. Is we added a trailer hitch to ours. It's useful for pulling out other stuck UTVs, ATVs, and you can hook you a little trailer to it too. One thing to remember, when we first got it, we used to pressure wash it. We found out that if you really read the owner's manual, it says do not pressure wash it. You always want to just use mild soap and water and a water hose. And then let's pop the bed and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so the tailgate on it is just like a regular truck tailgate, which is cool. Like the tailgate, it has tail lights on it. One of the things that we did buy as an accessory is these tie downs, and these beds come with all these holes around it, and you can buy different accessories to go down into the hole. You can get seats, you can get gun scabbards, you can get another roll cage. It makes it look like a Jeep, things like that. But what we found out is very helpful is these tie downs, and they're just pressure sensitive. You just put it in, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Now, we have another system that we use with boxes when we go trail riding, and we'll do another video of that as well. But we'll show you how we pack our boxes and how all those things work. But let's pop the bed, and we'll show you under here. You'll want to keep that clean, and that's what I'm talking about pressure washing. You've got your belt breather right there at the top. You don't want to get a lot of water in it. And then your air breather actually breathes through these side vents in the frame. So you don't ever want to ride with water above the floorboards. You know, but if water gets up inside of this, it's going to get in your engine. Let's come over here, and you can see the linkage. This linkage right here is what you need to spray the silicone spray on to make your shifter work just a little bit better. So, on this side of the box, I want to show you a thing over here. This is your belt cover. And if you ever get water inside your belt cover, I showed you on the other side where if you spray water inside of it, or let's say you're riding and it gets wet and it starts slipping, you want to take this little red bolt out. And this is the drain plug for the water. So any water gets inside of that belt drive, you can drain it out. You want to start the vehicle up and run it with that drain plug out for a little bit to run any water out, and put your plug back in. They tell me that belt is good for about 5 years. So belt's about 150 bucks. You can get an extra one and take it with you in the woods if you want, but being it was so expensive, I elected not to do that. Let's take a look at the suspension on these things. It has fully independent front and rear suspension. The ground clearance is astronomical. It will crawl over things that you never ever thought it would. Let's look at the front end. And the front end as well has the independent front suspension. You can crank the shocks up and get a little more rise out of it, but they suggest if you're hauling loads or if you're in rough terrain that you want to keep your springs adjusted the way they come from the factory, which is at the lowest setting. Alrighty, looking at what comes with the machine, you'll have these fabric side doors. I like them. If you notice, we don't have a top on ours, a windshield, a back, or side doors or nothing. When we ride, we like the open air. We like the open air feeling. We like the outdoor feeling. So we will probably never ever put an enclosed cab on this, because when you're outside, you want to enjoy it. But hey, you may like to ride in the rain a lot, or ride in the snow, or when it's cold, You may like the enclosed feeling, but so far we like it just as it is. If you come up and look, you have an adjustable steering wheel that adjusts for different people, for different ways. It makes you pretty comfortable to be able to ride it. You have your 3 seat belts. One thing to keep in mind, if you don't have your seat belt on, if you don't put it into your seat belt holder, the machine will only run 15 miles an hour. And that's a safety inside of it. So you need to always make sure you wear your seat belts, especially if you're riding very fast as well. Come on around on this side. I'll show you a little bit about the dash. You have a place over here to put your phone. Got a couple cup holders. Here's your start switch and your headlights come on. You got a really good display up front, speedometer, hour meter, keeps up with your trip miles, things like that. You have 3 different settings for your drivetrain. The one in the middle, which is what they suggest that you ride in all the time, is where you have both rear wheels differential locked together, so they both operate at the same time. If you press it up, that switches you into four-wheel drive mode, and there'll be a little four-wheel drive symbol that shows up in the middle. If you pull it down to turf mode, which is the bottom, there'll be a differential symbol that shows up, and what that means is only one wheel is spinning, and that's for turf mode. Let's say you're in some grass in somebody's yard and you don't want to tear anything up and you want to drive around slow. But they recommend you at any time, if you're on steep grades, if you're in a little bit of mud, if you're hill climbing, if you're anything in loose gravel, to always operate in the middle, which is both rear wheels turning all the time, similar to like a four-wheeler. But you do have a really good glove box. It gives you plenty of room to store your items. We'll also do a video on what to pack for an ATV or UTV ride. And then you have a nice little bit of storage here in the dash. We always try to keep some towels with us in case it rains or in case it's hot or something. Really good storage in there. We put our garage door opener on the side. The brake and the gas pedal are easy to get to. No problems with them at all. I'm a pretty good sized guy, and I love the foot room that this thing has. I have plenty of room to maneuver and to be comfortable. I can ride it all day, and I'm not tired. My back's not hurting, my legs aren't hurting, things like that. All right, a couple more things to remember too with the unit. When you're changing gears, you need to be stopped. So when you're in park and you go into reverse, let's say you're riding around in high, and what they suggest you to do in low is they want you to run up to 15 miles an hour. After 15 miles an hour, if you're going to run a whole lot faster than that, you want to stop the vehicle and you want to put it into high and then pull out in high and go on. What you don't want to do is ride it in high below 15 miles an hour, because then it'll wear on the drive belt. So a lot of times, most of the time here, we're operating in low anytime you're in the woods and all. And we have had this thing in some pretty steep grades and pretty steep climbs, and low does really well. One thing to keep in mind when you're in low and you're going down a steep grade, it will fall into neutral if you just leave the unit alone and don't push any gas or anything. What you begin to learn to do is when you're going down a steep grade, you feather the gas, and what it does, it keeps the belt working inside, and it keeps the clutch engaged, and it'll hold itself back and you'll be totally fine. But the first couple times you do it, you kind of feel, oh Lord, what's happening? But it's just going into freewheel mode. So you just want to keep giving it a little bit of gas as you're going down these real steep hills. Same thing with the four-wheel drive and the locking differential. They say you can do it under 5 miles an hour, but really, if you're in two-wheel mode and you decide you want to go four-wheeling, you really need to stop and put it in four-wheel drive. So that way those front CVC joints and all are not catching in really quick and putting a strain on your system.
Okay.
But we've enjoyed this Ranger so far. If you like playing outdoors and you do a little work around the house, you want to trail ride at the same time, I recommend this as a vehicle for you. It's a really good toy and a workhorse to have in your wheelhouse.